Hello and welcome to the How to Play video for rope walkers. I am Curry with Gorilla Games, and let's jump right into it and get to crossing that rope. So to play rope walkers, you will follow the turn sequence, which has 6 steps. The first step is to prepare, which means that we would choose to use these cards, and we don't have any. So we're going to skip that step to begin with and go right into step 2. Step 2 is the balance roll, which means you'll take 2 of these dice and you will roll them, and then you will choose which side of the balance tracker to assign each die. So in this case, we're going to assign the 2 to the left and the 4 to the right, and that means we will advance the left side by 2. 1, 2, and advance the right side by 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once they are advanced, you will resolve your footings. Now the footings are these left numbers on your card here. If a tracker lands on a number that matches your footing, you will either advance or retreat your mastery tracker. So this 3 would mean that I would advance twice on the mastery tracker. You advance by the number of chevrons you see. And this mastery tracker is essentially your experience. The more mastery points you have, the higher your experience is. The higher your experience is, the easier it is to use these mastery cards without risking an ailment. So in this case, we didn't activate any footings, so we'll go on to the next step, step 4, which is to resolve the lanterns. Well, we did not land on a number that has a lantern either, so we're going to skip that step, and we're going to step 5, which basically says to roll again or to end our turn. Well, here's the thing. We want to get to 14 and 15. 14 and 15 are the only numbers that will allow us to advance on the rope track. 13 won't advance us on the rope track, but it will give us a mastery point. And any other number will have a negative effect on us. So we definitely don't want to end our turn yet because we're all the way at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and roll again. We got a 4 and a 6. So let's see. Let's look to see what would be the most strategic way to assign these dice. So we have a 2 here. If we advance 6, we would land on that 8. The 4 would land on the 8. That's what we're going to do. We want a lantern card. So we're going to put a 6 on this side. We're going to advance this 2 all the way to the 8. We're going to advance the 4 all the way to the 8. So now we are on the same icon. Well, first thing, look to see if we need to resolve any footings. We don't. We don't have the number 8 over here. And then you will look to see if you need to resolve any lanterns. And we did land on a lantern on this side. Now, when resolving lanterns, you're going to draw one of these cards. First thing you're going to do is look at the die icon on the top. This is a 5. So you'll take the cube above the environment card and you'll place it next to the 5. Where it lands on this environment card tells you what effect is going to be in place until that cube is moved again. So for now, it is rising cheers, must +1 or -1 from each die. So the next time we roll those dice, we're going to have to plus or minus 1 from them. All right, so we've drawn that card, and now we need to start the turn sequence over again because we want to continue pushing our luck to get to that 14 or 15. So the first step is prepare. Now I can use one of these cards. I can choose to use this card as a 5. So that means I will automatically get a 5 out of my dice. Or at any point in the game, I can use it for its effect down here. It's important to note that you don't have to use the effect during the prepare stage. The prepare stage is strictly for you deciding to use it as a die. Here's the catch though. Anytime you use a card as a die to guarantee that that number is what you roll, you'll have to pay a cost. And the cost right here would be -2 to my mastery. So I can't use this card because I don't have any mastery. Put that there. Let's go ahead and roll again. We got a 1 and a 5. So this puts us into a bad situation, but it's good for the tutorial. So let's go ahead and advance this 8 to a 9 and this 8 to a 13. We're getting dangerously close to exceeding 15. The catch is that next turn, we're going to have to either end or roll both dice. Just because I get this tracker to where I want it to be does not mean I can end my turn. I'm going to have to roll both, which means that I'm running the risk of going over. So, did I land on a footing? A 9 or a 13 are not on there. Didn't land on a footing? did not land on a lantern. And so now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, I do have this card. It is called Boldness. If you overstep, re-roll. Must be played before the roll. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this card just in case I overstep. I got a 1 and a 3. So in this case, I am going to assign this 3 on this side. So I go up to 12. And this 1 over here, and that goes to 14. So I didn't overstep, but I still have to pay the consequence of using this card. So if I am mastered all the way over to this icon, that's the last icon over there, I would only have to discard this card if I overstepped. And every one of these cards has a different effect. This one just particularly says if I was there, I wouldn't have to discard this card. But I'm not there. I'm all the way at the beginning, not doing too good on the mastery points. So that means I do have to discard this card because I used it. Let's end our turn. Let's go ahead and resolve it. So I ended on a 12. That means I would lose 2 masteries. I don't have any mastery points to lose, so I'm fine there. Over here, I landed on a 14, so that means that I will advance 1 space on this tracker. And I get 2 mastery points. So finally got some mastery points, finally getting a little bit better there. And now we are going to reset things and start again. So 1 and a 2. So this is what I didn't do. I forgot to do it. I apologize. I was too busy trying to teach the game and I forgot an important step. You remember this environment card over here? Well, it says must plus or minus 1 from each die. So we are going to plus 1 to this die, and we are going to plus 1 to this die. I didn't want to minus anything because they were such low rolls. And then I will advance it. 1, 2, and this one 2, 1, 2, and 3. Shame on me for getting that step. Sorry about that. Now, I will resolve my footings. 2 isn't on here, 3 is. So this 3 has 2 chevrons. I will advance this 2 spaces, 1 and 2. And at this point, you get the gist of the games. I didn't land on a lantern icon, so I don't get to draw a new card. And I get to choose if I'm going to continue to roll and push my luck or if I'm going to end my turn. I know I'm too low on this card to end my turn, so we're going to roll again. I got a 2 and a 3. In this case, I'm going to put a 3 right there because I want that lantern. I'm going to put a 2 right there. So this 2 plus 3 puts me on that 5. This 3 plus 2 also puts me on that 5. First thing I'm going to do, look to my footings. Nothing is activated. Then I'm going to draw a lantern card. Lantern's drawn. This is a 6, so I am going to move that up to the top and keep this card. This says celebrations. Can choose to minus 2 stamina to advance once. I'm going to go ahead and spin that because that's great. So 1, 2 stamina, and then advance once on the rope track. Remember, I want to get there. And every rope walker that you has different stats. So the rope walker that you're walking with may not have enough stamina, but this particular guy, Kid Coolness here, he has enough stamina for me to spin some now. And then we're gonna roll again. Yeah, I got a 3 and a 1. So we're gonna move this one 3 and this one once. We're also, for the sake of the tutorial, going to use this card. This card's effect here says settled nerves. I can plus 1 stamina and advance once on the rope. So I'm going to plus 1 stamina and advance once on the rope. That sounds amazing. However, if I am one of the first 2 masteries, I would burn out a lantern card from the top of the deck. That means that I would permanently lose one of these cards, and that's not a good thing. So that card is randomly, permanently burned out. And then I will discard this card. And on the bottom of every one, there's some flavor text, and this one says, being perfect is exhausting. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. So that is the gist of the game. The only thing that I did not show you yet is some of these mastery cards will cause ailments. So this one would cause plus 1 cramp. We would take a cube and place it there, and plus 1 vertigo. So now we would have 2 cubes on the ailments. And if you look at the mastery card, a rope walker's aptitude improves once the mastery tracker advances onto lunar phases. Better mastery allows lantern cards to be used without risk of incurring ailments. If an ailment should exceed 1, instead burn out a random lantern card from the draw deck. So, if I got an ailment and I already had a cube there, I would permanently burn out another mastery card and get rid of it. And to get rid of these cubes here, I would need to land on 15 here. So the only way to get rid of an ailment is to land on the 15. Aside from that, if your stamina drops to the bottom mark, you will fall. You get one chance to be caught. And so when you fall, you can activate the mini game, which means you will turn this card around, move the trackers to the bottom, roll 2 dice. The white die is always on the left, the yellow die is always on the right, and you'll advance that tracker by the value shown on the dice. And let's roll again. So we got a 5 and a 4. So that 1 becomes a 6. This 4 becomes an 8. Here's the thing, the right side, this tracker will always end once it reaches one of these orange spaces there. The orange space, it'll always end. And your goal is to equal or exceed the right tracker without going over 12. If you can successfully do that, you will succeed. And flip the card back over, return your stamina to 1, and try again. If you fall again, you are then carried to the end of the rope where the crowd's waiting for you, and the game ends. And right there, guys, is Rope Walkers. I'm Curry with Gorilla Games. Happy gaming.